Welcome back, guys. It is Championship Racing once again here at SARCO, proudly brought to you by Thrustmaster. We're in the GT3 Open class. It is the last and final round of this championship. We're having a night race of 20 laps, with the qualifying being determined with a 15 minutes. Sit back and enjoy the highlights of this final race. So Bruno currently leads this championship. All he needs to do is just keep it on the track. We then have the interesting equation of Charles, Jared, Ross and Jacques Vermeulen. Only 7 points between the four of them are fighting for second place. We'll need to see who will be able to rise above and put themselves back on the podium. Lineup for this race looks as follows. Colin in 14th place for Daco Racing. He's in the 53 BMW. Behind Ash, the Cape Town boy, currently in the 27 Aston Martin. We move forward to row number 6, and Memo for Chasing Beavers is in the 71 Mercedes-Benz, and he's just behind Jacques from TTR, Jacques in the 38 Bentley. Row number 5 and Ronaldo for Shake and Bake. He's in the 64 Audi, just behind the Black Mamba. Dylan, he's in number 12. We move forward to row number 4 and Duppy in the 37 Bentley racing for TTR. He puts himself in 8th place behind the Project Cats Racing Jacques Vermeulen. Jacques in the 157 Lamborghini. He's currently looking at a 4th place in the championship standings. His teammate Ross is in the 158 Audi, also racing for Project Cat Racing. Ross currently second on the championship. He's just behind Jared for Tornado Force. Jared in the 67 Lambo. He's currently 5th in the championship. We move forward to row number 2 and Jakes for the Black Mambas in the 14 Audi. He puts himself just behind Marius for the Silverback Racing in the 185 Cadillac. We go to row number 1 and Charles, he's currently in the 6 Audi in 2nd place. Charles currently 3rd in the championship overall, and he's just behind the championship leader Bruno for Silverback Racing in the 168 Cadillac. As we wait for the green lights, it is green lights and away we go. Charles had a good start coming off the line. He's moving himself right up against Bruno. The Lambos getting themselves into a little bundle coming down the main straight here to turn 1. Looks like Bruno has actually held his first place. Oh, that's Jared knocking the rear of Jakes. That's sending him off. But Charles, he's won the race into turn number 1. So Charles, he leads with Bruno second, Morris is third. It is Jacques Vermeulen and then Jared, followed closely by the second Project Cat Racing is Ross. Just behind there is Ronaldo. Down into turn number 5. See Ronaldo, he's actually moved himself up ahead of Ross. So a great driving there by Ronaldo, having started in 10th place. He's currently finding himself up into 6th place. Oh, he looks like he'd gone a little bit wide there and allowed Ross to go through, but now this is Bruno right up behind Charles, coming through the Schumacher S's into turn number 10, side by side. That is Jacques and Morris, but Morris are not allowing him any more space there, squeezing him out. So Jacques had to just drop down and fall in line. Charles and Bruno side by side are coming through the NGK chicane. Well, Jacques has got a great drive on Morris. He'll move himself up into third. No, he doesn't. Oh, nearly 3 wide coming through the last corner. We saw Jared, he peeled away to take his mandatory pit stop. Down the main straight, looks like Bruno has taken the lead. Oh, a little close of the door there. That's now allowed Marius to come through on the inside into turn number 1. Charles a little bit wide. Will he have lost that place to Jacques as well? No, he's managed to maintain that. Down approaching turn number 5, we can bring up the current positions. Bruno still leads with Morris in second place, Charles is in third with Jacques in fourth, Ross is in fifth place with Dylan 6th, Ronaldo in 7th, Duppy 8th, Ash in 9th, Jakes down in 10th place after the knock from Jared. Colin he's in 11th with Memo in 12th, Jacques S in 13th place, and Jared in the pits taking his mandatory pit stop. We jump a little further back down the field, and Duppy for TTR is starting to put a little bit of pressure here on the shake and bake driver. As they go into turn number 7, a Dunlop corner. Looks like Duppy got a much stronger exit out of that corner, coming now into the Michael Schumacher S's. Duppy is definitely closing that gap. We'll have a look on the inside into turn 10. Just not close enough, decides to back away. There's Jakes in the background. He's made his move. He's moved up a spot, taking that place away from Ash. Down the back straight, preparing to go through turn number 12. Duppy moves to the inside. Oh, Duppy hits the curb, loses the rear. That puts him straight into Ronaldo. So that's unfortunately both Duppy and Ronaldo off. Very unfortunate here for both Duppy and Ronaldo. You see Duppy moving to the inside. He gets the car up, it starts to oversteer slightly. I'm sure he counter-steered. The next thing it just catches, and that throws him straight into the path of Ronaldo, sending the both of them off. Chasing the fourth place driver Jacques Vermeulen for Project Cat Racing. Will just swing around. Just behind him you'll see that there's his teammate being followed by the Black Mamba of Dylan. Into turn number 1, Jacques very late on the brakes, or a little dive contact between himself and Charles. Well, Charles getting extremely close there. Just a pan around as they go through turn number 3. Great exit there for Jacques coming out of turn number 4. Fortunately, that Audi does seem to be struggling just a little bit. Out of turn number 6 down to this very tight Dunlop hairpin. We'll Charles have a look on the inside. Oh, he gets very close there as well. The jump on board with Charles coming through the Michael Schumacher S's. Well, it seems that Charles just missed his turning point. It could have been due to the reduction of downforce coming through those Schumacher S's, being so close to the Lambo. Through turn number 11. So Charles will have the second of the Project Cat Racing just behind him. That is Ross. Making full use of those curves. Around the last corner, Coca-Cola. Just wanted to quickly go back. This was Dylan taking the place away from Ross. Ross unfortunately just misjudging his braking. Well, a great shot of those glowing brake discs. And Dylan moving himself up into 5th place, and Ross now dropping down to 6th. Battles going down all over the track. Currently, this is the 5, 4, 10th and 11th place. It is a Colin in the more nimble Z4 fighting off the big monstrosity of the Bentley for Jacques. His friends like to call him a Mal. Exiting out of a Dunlop. You can just see the size difference of these two cars. It's a David versus Goliath. Coming up towards turn number 8. This is where Colin should have the advantage through the tighter, more twisty, because the BMW will be a lot more nimble. But this is now where Jacques is able to open the full V12 of this Bentley. Through turn number 12, will Colin be able to fend him off into the braking zone? Well, Jacques got that a little bit untidy, so that's allowed the BMW to pull a gap. We jump to a race leader, Bruno, in the Cadillac. He is being followed by his teammate Marius in second place. Just behind is Jacques Vermeulen in the Lamborghini. Charles, he's in fourth place with Dylan in fifth. Ross in sixth place, a second behind Dylan. Jakes, he's in seventh place. He's starting to close that gap on the Lamborghini of Ross. Ash, he's in eighth with Colin in ninth, still being chased by Mal. Duppy, he's in 11th with Jared starting to make his way through the field after pitting, and Memo in 13th place with Ronaldo in 14th position. So we jump to the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. In shot is Ross. He's currently in 6th place. He's trying to close down Dylan. Then just behind him is Dylan's partner Jakes in the Black Mamba. Ross having made a mistake about 2 laps ago, going into the chicane, having misjudged his braking and allowing Dylan to go past. Ross having a look on the inside into turn number 1, but carrying a little bit too much speed, coming very late onto those brakes. Through turn number 3, then right into turn number 4. Ross just not managing to close the gap between himself and the Audi ahead of him. Well, looked like Dylan had to run himself wide coming out of turn number 6. Will Ross get a better drive now, exiting out of 7? The Dunlop hairpin. Whoa, Dylan loses the rear, coming through the Michael Schumacher S's. But he manages to catch it. Ross now has a look going into turn 10. Down the back straight through the turn number 12, flat out 230 kilometers an hour, then back into the harder braking zone here of the NGK chicane. Turns 13 and 14. Ross now right up behind Dylan. He has a look to the inside. We see Jakes peels away. He'll go into the pits. Down the start finish, Ross is not close enough to make an attack here on Dylan. The battle for 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th place. We see the BMW has now been chased down by 2 Bentleys. Well, there's Jacques onto the grass. He's got that extremely wrong. There he is, allowing his teammate to go past, but now that also allows Jared to go past. Jacques going onto the brakes and locking up those rears off the track, and unfortunately is sending going into turn 1 backwards. Definitely not the way you want to be doing that corner. But and now that's allowed Duppy to get right up behind Colin, because Colin having to take evasive action to go around Mal. And right on the heels is Jared in the Lamborghini. Remembering Jared has already pitted. He's now trying to work himself through the field. Oh, that's a great move there by Duppy, having gone into the inside. Or Jared's lost the rear. He's spun himself around, trying to get past Colin, but unfortunately not making it stick. So Duppy, he now moves himself up into 9th place. Colin down into 10th. So I just wanted to come back and see what happened. You can see Colin is holding his line. Jared tucks up right behind him. There seems to be a little bit of a rubbing there. And that then starts unstabilizing Jared's car. And it loses the rear. And he unfortunately spins himself around, having made contact to the back of Colin. So we are nearing halfway, and Scholl has started to put in those good laps. You can see he's now caught up right behind the second of the silverback drivers. Marius currently in the 2nd place, has the Audi of the SARCO 1 driver now to defend. Great shots as you saw those flames coming out of both the exhausts on the side of that Cadillac. Both Audi and Cadillac are safely through a Dunlop. And I would think that the Audi would have the better grip. Well, unfortunately Scholl just losing it, coming a little bit wide. Now through turn number 10, it seems that Marius has just opened that gap slightly. So Scholl will have to dig deep once again and start closing that gap. 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th place. Jared is starting to close up once again here on Colin, coming through turn number 11. See, Jared had a much better exit coming out of turn 12. So he should be able to close him up coming into the NGK chicane. Well, that looks like Jared's just gone straight and hit Colin once again. That definitely looked malicious. And then we see Jared disconnecting. So that definitely was a little bit of rage quit. That is definitely unsportsmanlike. In short 5th and 6th place, that is Ash in the Aston Martin, being chased down by Duppy. Ash really looking comfortable here, currently circulating in 5th place. He's already putting down some good consistent laps. A great shot of the two of them going through turn number 5. Then into this tricky Ford corner. Oh, Ash might have gone wide. Yes, he has. The pressure from Duppy has obviously got the better of him. So Duppy, he now moves himself up into 5th place. Ash now unfortunately dropping down to 6th. But let's just see if he'll have an answer for him. That was a great exit there by Ash, now coming through the chicane. Shimmy S's. Oh, unfortunately the Bentley is a lot quicker through that section. So Duppy unfortunately opening that gap in the background there. That is Ronaldo in the Audi. He is now starting to see whether he can hunt down the Aston Martin. Currently circulating in a 3rd place. This is Jacques Vermeulen. in the 157 Lamborghini. He goes into the pits. We'll just bring up the current positions. Bruno, he still leads with Morris in second. Jacques is in third place with Dylan in fourth. We can see Dylan coming through the last corner, so he will move himself up into third. Jacques in fourth. Duppy, he's in fifth place with Ash in sixth. Charles, he's in seventh place, having taken a pit. 8 is Jakes, he too having taken pits. 9th is Colin. Ross in 10th place, he's taken his pits. Jacques is 11th with a Memo in 12th. Jared disconnecting, and Ronaldo having retired. So Jacques unfortunately losing 2 places. He'll drop another one. There he goes in 7th place. Let's just drop down to Jakes to see where he is. So Jakes, he will cross the line and come out of the pits ahead of Jacques. So my correction, I did say that it was Ronaldo chasing down Ash, but it is actually Scholl in the number 6 Audi. Saw the Bentley at the top of the screen. That is the TTR driver, Duppy. Scholl definitely closing down Ash at a rapid rate. Well, Ash taking a lot of curb there on the exit through the Michael Schumacher S's. Hard in the braking zone turn, and number 6, the Kumo tire corner. Scholl just setting himself up. Ash runs wide once again, allowing an easy overtake by yet another driver. So here we see Ash coming out of the last chicane, and then very surprisingly just slowing down. Not quite sure what was going on here, but Ash definitely not driving the car to its full potential coming into the pit lane. You can see the places just dropping down, and then he starts getting his momentum again. Not quite sure what had happened there. We'll definitely have to check in with him later. Well, that was Scholl having a look on the inside of Duppy coming into NGK chicane. The Duppy, he will break away into the pit lane, allowing Scholl to go ahead. Just want to bring up the positions, because just behind Duppy we see Jacques and Jakes following right behind. Ross is a couple of seconds behind them. So Jakes will go past, and Jacques will go past. Just want to jump back to Ross. You can see he's now coming through the last corner, so he will go past Duppy as well. Jacques Vermeulen is starting to close up on Jakes. Just bringing up the lap times. You can see that Jacques has been going 0.8 quicker than Jakes. So he has been closing up this gap and nearly a second a lap. We are on a lap number 12. Bruno, he leads with Morris in second. Dylan is in third place with Scholl in fourth. This battle currently 5th and 6th is Jakes and Jacques Vermeulen. Ross is 7th with Duppy in 8th. Jacques is in 9th place, also known as Mal. Ash, he's in 10th place with a Memo in 11th. Colin in 12th place. And I thought that Ronaldo had retired. Yes, there you can see his car in the pits. And there is a Memo circulating with Colin right up behind him. This is currently a 4A place. And just behind them, that is the race leader starting to close down on the two of them. Memo goes in a little bit deep into Dunlop, so does Colin, but I think Memo had a slowdown penalty, so he moved over. So that allows Colin to take the place. It is Audi versus Lamborghini, 5th and 6th position. Single file through. That was a turn number 6. Down the hill towards turn 7. Jacques decides to go for a much wider entry and a tighter exit. Oh, touching the curb, that unstabilizes the car, pushes him to the right hand side of the track, up through the Michael Schumacher X's. Touch of the brakes here, turn number 10. And this is where the Lamborghini has been very strong, is down this back straight. Into the NGK chicane. Jacques has really closed up on Jakes there. We'll have a look on the inside turn, and number 15, not close enough, but he should be able to get a great drive coming out of Coca-Cola. Into turn number 1. Oh, there's a little nudge on the back of Jakes. The stewards are not going to like that, but that now allows, see Jakes flashing his lights, that allows Jacques to go ahead of him. I'm sure that incident will be reviewed because that was for a position. In shot, Marius down in 6th place, having made a pit stop. He's now fighting with Jakes. Down into the Dunlop hairpin. Single file through Michael Schumacher. Out of turn number 11, and this is where the Cadillac will have an advantage over the Audi. See now getting the downforce removed in that slipstream. Will he have a look into the chicane? No, he's not close enough. But great exit there by Marius. Oh, a little bit of oversteer at the end there, so he did lose some of that momentum. But now into Coca-Cola corner, Marius right up the back of Jakes. He should be getting a tow from him. Marius will move to the inside. And Marius now takes the place away from Jakes. In shot, our race leader, and if the positions stay the way they are, the man in shot will be crowned as the GT3 Open Class Season 1 champion here at SARCO. That was Ash just getting out of the way of the race leader. We can bring up the current positions. Coming to the end of lap number 15, Bruno crosses the line to start lap 16. Dylan is in 2nd with Charles in 3rd place. Jacques is 4th with Marius in 5th. Jakes is 6th with Ross 7th. Duppy in 8th place. Jacques in 9th place. Ash is 10th. Well, that is Jacques up against the inside wall. Colin is 11th with a Memo in a 12th position. So this is currently the second place driver, Dylan, into pits. Cross the line goes Scholl. So here unfortunately Dylan will lose the place to Scholl. There is Jacques. He should be in next. Just watching the time, 10 seconds. Dylan has completed his pit stop. Three seconds. So Jacques goes past. Next in the line, that is Marius. That's going to be a very close going into turn number 1. But Marius just manages to go around the outside of Dylan. So Dylan comes out of the pits in 5th place. Just behind him is his teammate Jakes. So the action is still very heated so late on in the race. We are on lap number 17 and Marius is starting to close down the 3rd place Jacques Vermeulen. You can see that Marius has pulled away a gap from Dylan, currently in 5th place. So Jacques will cross the line to begin a lap number 17. We can just bring up the current position. Sorry, lap number 18, my apologies. Bruno, he still leads with Charles in 2nd. Jacques is 3rd with Marius in 4th. Dylan 5th. Jakes is 6th. Ross is in 7th place with a Dupi 8th. Ash is in 9th with a Mal in 10th. A Colin 11 and a Memo in a 12th position. A race leader Bruno on a lap number 18. He comes into the pit lane. He has 35 seconds on the 2nd place driver Scholl. There we can see a driver coming in the background, but I don't think that was Scholl. That seemed a little bit close. We'll jump to Scholl to see where he is on track. He's currently coming through turn number 12. Bruno has made his stop. That is a Colin in the BMW exiting. So Scholl will finish 11 seconds behind Bruno after Bruno having taken his pits. So unfortunately we run out of replay once again, only getting up to lap number 19. So Bruno will come home in 1st place with Charles 2nd. Jacques Vermeulen will finish 3rd with Marius 4th. Dylan 5th. Jakes in 6th. Ross will finish 7th with Dupi 8th. Ash 9th. Mal in 10th place. Then Colin 11th and Memo in 12th position. So thank you very much guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as well as the championship. If you did, please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that notification button. That will allow you to be notified of any new live streams that have been posted as well as any replays. Our new championship will start in 2 weeks time with the qualifying rounds happening this coming week. So stay tuned and we'll get back on the track as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, yos.